Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to the first edition of the Euro 2024 podcast here on Top Tier Talk. Let's just start the first game of the tournament. If you're Scottish, that's pretty much all I've got to say. Elliot, as the fellow Englishman here, and Amir, as you as well. Anything to say?
Yeah,
Well, I'm part
obviously.
Scottish, so I actually kind of wanted the Scottish to win. But
Look.
Oh, okay, right, Amir, slate him.
No, I'm not slating them. I mean, I don't know if it's just Scotland are that bad or Germany look that good, because Musiala, Wirtz, even Havertz, like 10 out of 10 performance basically
even
from all of them.
Havertz,
I thought Havertz was quite good. Yeah, I mean, did his part, got the penalty as
wow.
well. I think it's Nagelsmann, isn't it? I mean, he was the one, I think, in friendlies or in the qualification, put Havertz at left back or something. So I think he's obviously one of the better managers in this tournament, and Germany are probably one of the favourites, and that kind of solidified it. And from Scotland's end, not really much. I mean, Porteous, Dan, we can talk about him, an absolute
Yeah.
rash challenge. I mean, didn't need to do that. I mean, Graham Souness taking the piss out of Watford afterwards as well was quite funny. But yeah.
I did actually hear what you said. I was at the pub watching it, so
He's
we've
basically
left.
slating like the skill balance between Gundogan and Porteous. He's basically saying like Porteous, who plays for Watford, tackling Gundogan, who plays for Barcelona.
Yeah, but you're going to get that throughout this tournament.
I don't
Hence
know.
why.
I
I mean,
don't
he's a
think
That's
gimp
that's
a,
the
anyway. I
standard.
don't like
it's a
Graham
terrible
Souness. He's a
comment to
bit of a
make.
gimp.
It's funny to talk about Watford, but at the same time, like, well, then you can see someone from like the third tier of Romanian football
Slovakia,
coming up
Romania.
against Cristiano
Yeah,
Ronaldo. Then what?
yeah.
Guys an idiot, honestly. Guys are spastic.
Like,
Um,
but yeah, no, yeah, well, I was going to following on from your point. I don't. Germany were obviously good again to score 5 goals, and there were some class goals. Was it Fulkrug's? He scored
Fulkrug
two,
was
didn't
about
he?
no, he scored
He'd
one.
hit the back of the net before the keeper had even dived. Like, it was a
Well,
brilliant strike, but then also,
that's coming off the bench as well. He's a
yeah,
striker.
and he was
Dorman's
unlucky. Obviously, I know he was offside, but unlucky not to get two.
absolutely.
Um, but no, Scotland were poor. They couldn't keep the ball. Che Adams offered nothing up top.
Che
Um,
Adams was terrible.
and he's now a free agent, so he's not putting himself in the shop window very much. Bless him. But yeah, no, I know it's all English banter towards Scotland and whatever, but they might scrape into a third place, but obviously with Romania winning 3-0 yesterday,
Am I right in saying third place goes through now?
the 4 out of the 6 go through. So basically, you need to win one game and you're through. Again, with Romania winning yesterday, Poland didn't put forward a bad account of themselves against Holland, and neither did Austria against France last night.
Yeah, it
So
was 1-0, wasn't it?
yeah, but again, it wasn't a bad account. All you need to do is win one game.
Cracks
So
me up though, because Scotland are going to do in Argentina. They've lost the first game, and now they're going to win the rest.
I,
Well,
I, I I was a bit concerned.
they said they wanted 4 points. That was their aim. So they've got 2 games to get it. Steve Clark said that was always the aim. So
Germany
Well,
was their hardest game, let's be honest. So
yeah, exactly. They've got that out of the way, but we'll see. Obviously, the other teams are still quite good. So we'll see.
true.
See what happens. Should we go on to I think the main talking point for us will be England. I think we should go
England,
straight to.
yeah. Let's do it.
I was going to say brilliant opening half an hour and uh, terrible 60 minutes, I suppose. It was, I was going to say, I'm not disappointed because we won. And in terms of, it's a tournament. You need three, you need points on the board. But obviously, to get 3 points in your opening game, which is something we've only done twice out of our last 11 attempts, is, well, good for us. And yeah, I don't understand people complaining about, oh, we've only won 1-0. And I think it was Roy Keane said it last time after Euro 2020, after the group stages. And it was obviously we beat Czech 1-0, drew 0-0 with Scotland, and then beat, I can't remember who that was 2-0. And it was like, if that was Germany or France or Spain, another footballing nation with their heads screwed on, you'd be looking at it going, they've got 7 points, won 2 games, kept 3 clean sheets in a row. What a start. But because we're English, we want to turn up and beat
The
everyone
thing
7,
is,
7 or 8
yeah,
nil. And
this
it,
the English unfortunately have the same outlook as Arsenal. If it's not 100% perfection, they're looked and frowned upon as if they're failures. And you're completely right. The first half an hour was a joy to watch. Saka was on fire, a little chilly. He was absolutely destroying their. Who was it?
it was their
What was his name?
their left centre
Pavlovich.
back. Yeah, something like that.
He was quality, Saka. I think he had a fantastic opening game. Shame to see him bought off because, in my opinion, Foden had a stinker, but here we are. Kane didn't really offer much, unfortunately. He was obviously renowned for his hold-up play in that game, I think. He was just like hustling and tussling with their 6'3" centre back, and that's all he kind of did. Bellingham was good. Rice was good. Gahey was fantastic, stepped in and made his mark. Stones is a classic. General John Stones, Carl Walker, good, and Trent.
He
I
was getting
guess
a
if
lot
you
of
were,
hate. I
I
thought
think
he
for
had a
the
good
most
game.
part, for a right back who doesn't play midfield that often, apart from that one touch which Mitrovic had the quick shot, I thought Trent had a good game.
yeah,
To be honest,
no. That's what I'm saying. Okay, it wasn't kind of one of them ones, in my opinion, where he was like outstanding.
yeah,
As I
but
said, no,
he's out of position though, isn't he? Like you got
But
to
then
look
why
at.
play him there if he's out of position?
Well, he ain't got no one else, has he?
You got Conor Gallagher.
also, I'd like to point out a major concern. I did say it in my player ratings, but obviously we've got Kyle Walker playing right back, which is where he plays for City. That's fine. We've got Trippier, who is a right back, playing left back because Luke Shaw's not fit, and Trent in midfield because obviously that's where he fits in and he's got the range of passing ability, though his downfall is defending, which is strange for a right back. But when Trippier, as I said, my player ratings went down, it was a concern because we've got all three of our right backs on the pitch at once. If one gets injured and one picks up a suspension, then we're bare bones at right back. I know it might only be for a game or for a game and a half of a knock or something, but if we get through the group stages, which should be happening, like,
To be fair, when I was watching the
you know
game,
what I
I
mean?
think when Kobe Minu came on, Chavez is going to laugh and be smiling this entire time. I think he had a good little cameo, in my opinion. He was
Yeah.
chasing balls down. He was strong as a number 8. I think he had a great little cameo.
I mean,
I said that as well. All three
just
of the
to
subs.
echo on what you lot say. I mean, if we just look at France's game yesterday, France were good for most part, but they did have moments where Austria looked like they were going to score as well. So I mean, I don't know if it just could be the first game of the season or like first game of this tournament, or like if we just scrape by and win games, I still don't see an issue. I don't
But this is the thing: is Daniel's correct in what he said. Like, if we don't win every single game
major
7-0, the
upset.
media's going to look at us like we're a failure, even though
And
we still won.
and if you ask every
They're
single, and
always
I've
going
said
to
this
do that though,
before,
anyway. Like
That's
they're
what I'm
always,
saying. It's very badly like written.
but
That's
it's
because
like
everyone
us
hates our
and
fans as well.
this is why I said this is why I say it time and time again. I hate watching England because it's the same every time. And my dad said this for years, and he's an old man, so he's watched it a lot longer than we have, and been disappointed a lot more times than we have. It's we'll go into qualifying, we'll tear teams apart like San Marino and Montenegro and North Macedonia, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9s, and then we'll get to a tournament and we're like we did in 2016, we'll lose to Iceland. We'll play France, who was our first decent
but
team in 2022, and we'll lose by a close margin. And it's like you'd rather, like we did in this talk, like this qualification, played Italy twice, did the double over Italy. Admittedly, I'd rather we did it in the Euros, but that's by the by.
yeah, but
So
that's not the same in the Southgate era. I mean, there's two high. Well, I think all three. I think have some backing towards it. The final. I know, obviously, he made mistakes in the final, but reaching there, semi-final Croatia. Obviously, we can criticize that, and also against France. But he's probably the one manager, probably in our lifetimes, that we've seen has probably been progressed the most with England. So it's like
oh no, yeah, in terms of
so
progression, yeah,
disappointing. It's
but
disappointing. Obviously, we didn't win the Euros. We should have won, but at the same time, like we would have not reached a final with Capello, who was a pedigree as a coach. I mean, Sven Goran Eriksson, same thing, and obviously Roy Hodgson was a nothing coach really for England.
Big
It was
Sam as well.
To
But
be
this is
fair, I
this is
think. Well, I was
I
just
know,
going to say,
carry on.
sorry. I was just going to say, like, going forward now. Obviously, we've got Denmark. I think it was it Thursday, and Denmark. Obviously, no disrespect to Slovenia or who do we play?
Serbia.
Serbia. Yeah, no disrespect to them teams, but I think Denmark's probably going to be the strongest challenge in our group. Eriksen's fantastic. If you watch their game against Slovenia, he played very well. They've got a good back line and they got a good midfield as well. So, it's all to play for Denmark because it's one of them ones where if, for example, they get an early goal, they'll do exactly what Serbia did to us. If you saw Serbia's little kind of formation against us, it was very compact. There was no way to get through that. They played 5 where on the attack, yeah, they had their left wing back and right wing back, obviously stretching the play, fantastic. But when they lost the ball, if you saw them, they came
Just sucked
straight
in.
in like that. The 4 in front was like a triangle, and there was we were trying everything we possibly could, going back, left, right,
And
bang.
this is
We couldn't do it.
why
So
I don't mind us playing teams like Iceland and Bosnia, correct me if I'm wrong, but right before the tournament, because the likelihood of France or Germany or someone that's going off the Copa America like Brazil or Argentina accepting a friendly is highly unlikely. And in the group stages, and when we get through, depending on obviously the groups, if we get through, obviously that is, we're going to in the round of 16, we're going to be facing a third place team who could be, as I said, like I can't remember, but like a Romania or a Poland or however it falls. And
yeah,
because we are a good footballing nation, quote unquote, quotation marks, whatever, teams are going to low block us, and we struggle with that quite a lot of the time to break it down.
But it's their counter-attacking methods as well. Is if you saw them, like for example, when Serbia did get the ball, they were very, very kind of aggressive with it as well. So kind of, it's kind of strange because obviously our defense, as you said, luckily we had Gehi who was very strong with like his mojo, but then everything else was kind of like a bit shaky.
This
So
is why I was going to say, I just on the squad selection, I don't understand why people are going, oh yeah, thank God Maguire's been dropped, because a game
Maguire's
like
steady. He's a good.
but a game like when we had Mitrovic and Vlahovic running at us, obviously our defense just about handled well. But yes, he's not going to keep up with Mbappe. But when Giroud comes on, and obviously we had the World Cup, sorry, last time, and Giroud did score, but someone that they're going to whip balls into if we're ahead, and just
You need
someone
a
that can,
big boy to just go
yeah,
douche. Yeah.
yeah. Whereas Stones and obviously Stones isn't that sort of player, and Guehi,
Stone, yeah.
he's got the strength. No, but they've got the strength, but they're not your big like brawling centre back, like a typical centre. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, to be fair, I'm looking forward to the Denmark game though, because looking at like how we kind of set up as well towards our attack, it kind of seemed like John Stones kind of went to the defensive midfield position like he does for City. Trent was playing more kind of like a right wing or right mid, and then kind of sat in kind of towards the central midfield once he kind of got back. Rice was allowed to have a little bit of freedom, but not too much because obviously he was that main kind of number 6 midfielder. Bellingham was just roaming everywhere, but I think we need to kind of utilize Foden in a better way. I think Southgate must have said to him, "You're allowed to run wherever you want," because Saka was extending the play out as far as he could, and I think he absolutely demolished that Pavlovic on the right because he just kept running, and he couldn't keep up. But Foden was allowed that room because obviously everyone was saying play him at the number 10, so he allowed him to kind of say, "Bellingham, you play just there and do what you want," and obviously Foden can shift over. But then that leaves that left hand side open, and then if you, for example, Trippier wants to have a go, then that left back space is open, and if you have the likes of Mbappe, if we play France, we could be toast if we muck it up once.
Yeah,
I think
oh god, I'm sorry.
from Phil Foden's game, I mean, if you remember that one pass that came through to him and he mistouched it. For City, he scores that. I don't know if it's just that game. He's still a class player. I think people are very like critical of him for
It's one
England.
game, and people think he's just going to
Exactly.
gloss
If
over.
he next game, if he scores the winner or something, then it's all forgotten. To be honest,
Exactly,
Football fans are
exactly.
so fickle. I don't know if you two noticed this, but it was almost like Trippier went into essentially like an attacking sort of left-sided position.
That's what I'm
Bellingham
saying.
dropped into a free, and Foden then went into the 10.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm
it
saying.
was
He
just a
like they all shifted
rotation.
over.
But again, it worked. Well, we won the
That's what I'm
game.
saying.
It
It
worked,
will,
but
but then what if they then people can crack on quickly and then kind of go, okay, this is what they're doing. They see we're overloading that left hand side, and that leaves the back side of the left hand side open, and then smack it down the wing, put a pacey guy on it, and then as you said, you got the likes of a number 9 like Giroud or a 6'4" striker.
they're
They
just going to
whack it
lump the
in,
ball in.
bang.
Yeah.
Counter attacking methods really do us badly. So yeah, look, at the moment I'm enjoying it. As you said, the opening half an hour was a joy to watch, but hopefully, in true England fashion, we don't fuck it up like we normally do in the second half, and we can continue.
I agree with what you said though. Denmark will be our toughest test in the group.
Yeah, no disrespect to
On
Slovenia.
paper, of course. On
Yeah, yeah,
paper,
yeah.
obviously.
I'm saying no disrespect to Slovenia or Serbia, great teams. You know, Slovenia gave a good battle to Denmark. They drew to them, but yeah, as you said, like the caliber of players on paper, Denmark's up there. So
I think every
So
team's hard.
yeah, oh yeah, obviously they've qualified for the tournament. No one's going to be a walkover.
that's what I
No
said.
one's
I probably think
apart.
Serbia's harder based on
Their grit, their
They're just,
aggressiveness as well.
they just that's the thing. They've got nothing to lose. Even at 1-0 down, if
They
Serbia
go for it.
score, they've got belief they can hang on. If they lose 2-0 to England, again, blowing our own trumpet, and I hate to do this, losing 2-0 to England there's no shame in that. Because if you look at our attack, our attack is probably, well, I'd say probably arguably joint first in the Euros, probably to France, mainly because they've got Mbappe. If you look at it individually, then I'd probably say it is the best.
yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's very strong, very strong.
but
It's
again, yeah,
very. It's, I just want to touch as well on Bellingham. Bellingham, he's 20 years old and he's acting like a 30-year
this
old
man can't
experienced.
legally
Yeah,
drink in America.
I can't
yeah,
believe it. If you
yeah,
actually watch the game, he was absolutely spectacular in bossing about that midfield and even kind of stirring up the pot. I was saying it to my parents as well when we were watching the game. For example, when he was like pushing up the fans and then walked into Kostic, like just stuff like that. You're getting into their head and everything like that. It's part of the tournament. You kind of got to wind them up, so then they make some rash decisions and they could get booked. Part of it. But he's 20 and he's doing that. That's such a joy to see. If I'm honest, it's very kind
Old
of
old head on young shoulders.
Yeah, it's really nice because as you mentioned, Dan, I know obviously he's probably, I don't know how old he's, maybe 26, 28,
I don't think
but
he's that old.
he's still youngish, but he's obviously walked into this England squad a fresh face, and he's probably going to be like a little bit kind of standoffish to make sure he doesn't get too many bookings.
Yeah, but that's because Bellingham's the sort of player he is. I mean, he's just done the double.
That's
in
what I'm saying.
Spain.
It's nice to see where he just kind of exit on.
I suppose is that all. There's been no real shock results. Holland,
I think
Holland were
Belgium.
lucky.
I think the only shock thing was Belgium lost. I think probably Mbappe breaking his nose yesterday was probably.
Yeah, what happened with that? I didn't hear about that.
He just headed some dude's shoulder. He went up for a header. Um,
Yeah,
he's
Belgium.
where
Apparently Lukaku. I don't know if you guys saw it. Lukaku
I'd
had
like
2
to
disallowed
point out.
goals.
Yeah, they were. I agree that was a handball. I'm guessing you haven't
I didn't
seen
see
it.
him.
That was
I
a
haven't seen
he's gained an advantage. If whether it was deliberate or not, he's gained an advantage by letting him gain a yard or two round the defender. It's helped him before he's crossed the
it.
ball in. I agree with the decision made there. But also, I'd like to point out in my predictions, I did put Belgium as the flops, and so far so good. Yeah, we complete different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But moving on to, I suppose that's done for the Euros. I suppose as we're recording, Turkey are 2-1 up against Georgia, and
2-1 up now.
Yeah, Turkey are 2-1
Look
up,
how
and
man, every time
and yeah, Portugal, Czech Republic tonight.
That'll be an exciting game. Patrick Schick for top scorer, remember?
So Elliot, crunch time for you. Premier League fixtures come out today, so I'd like you to predict. I don't need a score. I'll just go for a win or a loss. Your first 10 Premier League games. So starting off with Wolves at home.
Yeah, that's a win at home.
Villa away.
They don't like Villa. They bottle against
Draw.
Villa.
Brighton at home.
Win.
Spurs away.
Win.
City away.
Win.
So you haven't lost any of your first 5.
No, I said draw. Well, yeah.
You haven't lost any.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
So Leicester at home.
Win.
Southampton at home.
Win.
Bournemouth away.
Draw.
Liverpool at home.
Win.
And your 10th game, Newcastle away.
Loss.
Oh, so you're going 9 games unbeaten. And then
I don't know why.
Away.
But I don't know why, but Newcastle are pricks against us. And always at St James's Park, they decide, let's play like prime kind of AC Milan.
2002 Brazil.
Yeah, they just decide to turn it on against us for some reason. But so yeah, could be a 1-0 like it was last season.
And Amir, you can guess what's going to happen now for you. Your first 10 games. You've got Man City at home. Wolves away.
Loss. No joking.
Loss. No, that is a loss.
Palace at home.
Win.
Bournemouth away.
Win.
West Ham away.
Draw.
Brighton at home.
Win.
Forest at home.
Win.
Liverpool away.
That's a loss.
Yeah.
Chelsea at home. Newcastle at home.
Win.
And Man United away.
Win.
And here's a little bonus one for you both. Your 11th game is Chelsea versus Arsenal.
Chelsea
Arsenal win.
Oh, the Chelsea. Oh, the Chelsea.
It's going to be another 5-0 like last season.
It's going to be another 5-0 like
And as I mean, that wasn't really a head-to-head. Just as the opening game or opening match week of the season, we will do a head-to-head. So for this, I'm just going to get either of you to predict again, team win or draw, and we'll revisit this on the first week of the season, as there's only 3 of us because Chavez isn't here at the minute. And yeah, we will see who's got the most right. So Man United against Fulham starting the season.
Is Man United at home?
Yep.
United.
Ipswich against Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Which is really funny. It's a 12:30 kickoff, but Klopp's no longer here to moan about that, so that's fine. Arsenal Wolves.
Arsenal.
Loss for Arsenal.
He's our hater again. 24-25 season.
Everton against Brighton.
Everton win.
Yeah.
Newcastle against Southampton.
Newcastle win.
Newcastle.
Forest against Bournemouth.
Draw.
Yeah. Like that.
West Ham Villa.
Villa win.
Villa.
Brentford Palace.
Palace.
Chelsea City.
City.
And to finish off match week, he's changed it. And to finish off match week 1, Leicester against Spurs.
Leicester.
I I think that brings us to, I suppose, the end of this episode. There's not really, I mean,
Yeah, that's the thing. We can catch up next week when England dominate Denmark.
yeah, we've had another
But
game. Everyone would have had another round of games, I think, by then, or we'd be coming on to the last
yes, yeah, that's
the
right.
last match week anyway, or the last game of
Yeah,
the
that's
match
it.
week. Sorry.
Everyone watching as well, get on the beers, get on the Cruiser Campos, Sahis. Let's get on it.
Over the age of 18, obviously, we'd like to.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah. So thank you very much for watching this episode, and we will see you next week when England hopefully have 6 points on the board, and I haven't jinxed us. Goodbye.
It's coming home.